Superstition Wilderness is 160,000 acres of rugged desert backcountry. I've been all over out there. About 3 years ago, I put together a loop that links together some of the most iconic and difficult routes out in the Superstitions. You start on the Siphon Draw trailhead and go up to Flatiron. Instead of stopping and turning around there like most people do, you continue on the Ridgeline trail, go down towards Carney Springs, but instead of exiting where the Ridgeline normally goes, you go back up to Robert's Roost, cut across to the Fremont Saddle, take the Peralta Trail past Weaver's Needle, pick up Boulder Canyon Trail, summit Battleship Mountain, and then take Boulder Canyon to Second Water to First Water back to your car. I was really excited about this route, planned for a couple of months, and then attempted it solo. I failed miserably. At the time, I thought the route was impossible, but then people started to finish it. Almost 3 years to the day, I decided it was time to go back out and give it another shot. But this time, instead of going solo, I had friends along. This is how that went. All right, third stooge just showed up. It's a Star Trek shirt.
I thought you said we were going trekking.
Oh, God.
Nope. I haven't brought my Spocks.
Oh, is that the ear?
I'm even wearing my Shatner boxers, man.
I don't know why I hang out with these guys.
3 inexperienced hikers about to fumble through the unforgiving wilderness of the Superstition Mountains for 3 days, over 30 miles. Who will make it back alive?
Where are we again? Right up there. In case you were wondering if Flatiron is steep, it's steep. We are past Siphon Draw and heading up where it gets really steep going up Flatiron. This thing never gets any easier. Brevin can run up it. Troy and I, not so much. Sorry, Troy, I'm lumping you in with me for being slow. I need company. Gotta get right up to there. I'm worn out. So I got a secret weapon. Simmer down. It's whey protein. We're fine.
How many times have you hiked Flatiron now?
Well, today is 594.
Oh,
594. Wow. Jeff's nice enough. He's going to take our packs up the rest of the way.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Nice. Thanks, Jeff.
Could be bought.
Oh, it's just so much of this. We're getting there. Oh, so close.
Which is lovely.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Just gotta get up that. Oh.
Behold the weary traveler.
Oh, I just wanted to make you guys feel fast.
Mission accomplished.
I'm fine.
top of Flatiron. How you guys feeling?
Great.
Better.
They lie so convincingly.
Just a splash. Maybe a little dessert coffee. That is.
All right, we have passed Flatiron. That's about, I think, 2,800 feet elevation gain in 3 miles. Took us 3 hours, which is longer than I wish it would have, but now we're on Ridgeline. Trail's kind of mellowed out a little bit. Getting a lot easier. It's nice not to be scrambling uphill. So we're gonna do that for a while. We are right about where Hieroglyphics Trail meets Ridgeline. And this is where I bailed last time, pretty much. Spent the night here, didn't make it as far as I wanted, and called it a day. And, you know, I'm not too proud to say that I almost called it on this one. Revan and Troy, they are just tougher than I am. And they offered to take some of my pack weight, which sucks to my pride, but it's good for my legs. And right now I'm just trying to survive. So if there's not a whole lot of footage, that's why, because this has been very hard on me. And part of that is my fault. I haven't trained enough, but I have been training. It's just not been enough. So anyway, we'll probably get to camp after dark. It's going slower than we wanted, mainly because of me. Hate being the slow guy. Brevin up there. Oh God, that guy's a mountain goat. Oh my God, that's so steep.
The hill ain't gonna climb itself, you know.
Burning down the bodies you've carried for a long time, and your muscles ain't strong enough to fight big waves. But this voice inside says this is the only way. And you say row, and you say row. This thing just passing through my soul, and you say row.
Oh, we are on our way down to Carney Springs, and I'm so happy to not be going up. We've got a couple of miles maybe to camp. And unfortunately there is some up, but not for a ways. So I'm taking the break. Ridgeline it's serious. think I forgot that. I always forget that. Anyway, we're almost to camp. Sort of almost.
Jerry's back there. Learning to enjoy the satisfaction you get from reaching your destination after you've been forced to dig really, really deep. He's hating it right now, but boy, it's gonna feel good in a few minutes. We are almost at camp. It's 5:30 in the afternoon. It's been a long, long day. We're almost there, fellas. All that digging deep's about to pay off.
This is about as close to a flat trail as we've seen all day. We just got to go right up in there.
Really not right, by the way. We should be. So you got to make decisions in backpacking, you know, like, what do you need more, a tent or beer? A chair or beer?
And let me guess what Moon Juice went for.
Well, I mean, come on. Go big or go home.
Nice.
Hey, I got some for you too.
Oh, you are all right.
And it's cold.
Margaritas. Oh, it is cold.
In my head, I was like, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to walk back to my...
That is the death bunny. Kind of freaky looking. Slept under that all night. Not sure if that's a good thing or not. All right, day 2, we're gonna hit up Robbers Roost and then continue on to Battleship. Hopefully get that summited today. Should be a lot easier day than yesterday. That's why I do the loop this way. Well, that's why I hope to do the loop this way, but why I designed it this way, because climbing up Flatiron is a son of a bitch. And it's nice to have it out of the way on day 1. If I could do it over, I might plan to camp on Ridgeline, probably, and do a little more today and tomorrow, but I'm here now. All right, I'm losing these guys, so I gotta go. That was Robbers Roost. Ran into a group camping down there. 3 of them actually came up to our camp last night at like 9 o'clock. and they were doing the Icon Loop, and they ran into Troy and Moon Juice and I, and they're like, we know you guys. I felt kind of bad because they didn't look like they were all having fun. And yeah, anyway, they found their friend, number 4, and we may see them on the trail today. All right, gonna get out of here.
I was alone and a quiver on the boat before the river. And oh, my hands were cold. That mighty river flowing, sure knows where it was going.
Right down there is the Peralta Trail. We're gonna get down onto the Fremont Saddle and take Peralta out that way. I'm so happy I don't have to climb Flatiron right now. I'm gonna be saying that a lot probably.
I held the gold in my hand as I struggled towards the land.
What's up, Jerry? Are we climbing Weaver's Needle today?
We are not.
Okay. Another time, Weaver's Needle, another time.
I felt the wind was blowing against the course that I'd been rowing. It's hard to sink.
Lots of fire damage. I think this is still the siphon fire from last summer. Still beautiful though.
I'm frightened by the violence of your soulmate. I've seen that I like him.
I know what you're thinking, Jerry. You're like, damn, I wish I had 2 margaritas, not 1.
His name is Moon Juice, so that should be expected, but he does not understand what it means when we say stash water. There's Battleship. We are gonna stash our packs and water over here. Climb up there, and back here for camp for the night. It's hot. I hate this climb, this part of the climb. Top part's fun. I don't know, why do we do this? You wanna go first?
I don't mind.
Who? What? What are we doing?
Let's go.
Going up that bullshit.
You know, that went by pretty quick. I'm not gonna say it was fun, but I agree.
Yeah, let's see how it's done.
Very slowly.
Just gotta get right out there, top of that thing. Piece of cake.
Easy peasy.
That is some old graffiti. It's a long way down. Yeah, we climbed all of that so far. Oh, you can't see it, but it's up there.
different from the other direction.
Oh man, I don't know that I can do this on my 2 feet.
That right there is too steep to be standing on for me.
Went down that on my ass, and I am not ashamed. They walked down it. Whatever, we're all here. Oh yeah. We made it, guys. Woo.
The final loop, the icon loop, of Jerry's icon loop, we should say.
Yeah.
Finally.
That is
Flatiron.
up. That's Flatiron. Ridgeline.
Superstition.
And out there, Robert's Roost. Then we came back down and down through all this stuff. Down to here, climbed up. And now we're on top of this thing.
We also started way the hell over here.
And yeah, and then we got to go way out there somewhere. Easiest day though. Of course, the first day almost killed me, so that's not saying a lot of good things. All right, we're getting off of this thing. Back to camp. Let's go. All right, we're down. We're gonna go get our water stash and our backpacks. Take a 10-minute break and go find camp for the night. A ton of campsites down here. Between here and Second Water, we're gonna find one, kick back and relax. Hardest parts are done. Ah, yeah. Yeah, man. Boon juice with 700 pounds of water. I can barely lay down.
You know we're taking a break, right, Moon Juice?
Yeah, I'm just getting all shit over
Hey,
here.
I love you, bro. You're a fucking animal.
Why don't you just take that and go find a good camp spot, set up your camp, come back and get my and his set up our camp.
All right, I only require one reach around.
And not it.
I'll be the big spoon. Oh, good lord.
Oh, and I think I got all that.
No! No! Delete!
Yeah,
That,
definitely delete that.
that is going in the video. Oh, nice. We are at camp for the night. I'm tired, I'm beat up, and what I really don't feel like doing is filming myself setting up a tent. So, really sorry, I know you needed another one of those scenes.
And then I kind of realized, I was like, oh man, I gotta get one that I can put in the backpack. Yeah. I did a little bit of that outside St. George.
Hair looks great.
Thanks, man. I worked all night on that.
Like we found him out here in the woods. Can we bring him home? Second Water. That's the first water we've seen this whole hike. Day 3, we've got about 7 miles to get back to the trucks. A little bit of elevation gain, but not too much. Should be a pretty mellow day. I'm ready for some food. We've been talking about a burger joint for about a day and a half now. I'm ready for that. Today's all about getting out of here. There are cars. We are at the first water trailhead.
All right, guys. One for each of you.
Just for you. Uh-oh. This is looking romantic.
Let me get over here.
That was hard. I wouldn't have made it without those guys. Man, I'm happy to be done. Sitting down in an actual cushioned chair seems unreal. I like it. It's awesome. We're gonna get food. Yeah, I need lots of food.
I'm on the move, out into the great wide open. Oh yeah. Here I come, hoist up my sails and ride the wind.
All right, so I wanted to do a little debrief and a wrap up at the end if you want to plan this yourself, because logistically, this is a difficult backpacking route to do. Let's start with water. Everything in the Superstition Wilderness revolves around water. And on this route, we saw water actually in two spots. First was Labarge Pool, which you can see from the saddle going up to Battleship Mountain. That looked really gross. That would have been a last resort only. About a mile down the Boulder Canyon Trail away from where you go up to Battleship is second water. And I was shocked because there was actually water there. This has been so dry. I don't think I've seen it this dry out here for the 20 plus years I've lived here. So second water, pretty reliable source. But what we had to do is to cache water. Troy and Brevin live nearby, and Troy was gracious enough to take 1 gallon of water each up to Robert's Roost, along with a little bit of the gear to lighten our loads coming up Flatiron on day one. And then Brevin had brought 4 gallons of water in from the Boulder Canyon Trail and dropped them off near where we went up to the saddle of Battleship. If you're gonna do this, the first thing you've got to do is plan around water. If it's dry, you're gonna have to cache water. If it's been raining, a lot of these washes have water. Some of it even becomes cumbersome. Down in Boulder Canyon, you can get that stream to where I think there's 21 water crossings. It's tough to keep your feet dry. Then you have the opposite problem. But you can't count on that because that is seasonal flow. You can also see streams in Peralta Canyon, even up at Carney Springs, where you're coming down Ridgeline and you get down into the valley where you normally would turn down in to take Carney Springs out. That's another source. But number one thing you got to think about is water. If you want to do this thing, unless you want to be carrying around 3 to 4 gallons of water for the whole hike, you're going to have to plan extra time to go up and put your water stashes out there. Keep in mind, we use those cheap 1 gallon jugs of water, and I don't know if it was rodents that got into them or if it was just little rocks that put pinholes in them, but a couple of those gallons were partially empty or at least leaking. Luckily, Brevin had another stash out there near the Fremont saddle, so we were able to top off on that as well. But if you're gonna stash water, put it in something pretty sturdy and heavy duty so you know it's there when you get there. If you want to know the water conditions, check with the rangers. You can join. There's a Superstition Wilderness group on Facebook that you can join. I'm sure there's other groups out there. Just ask around when you're planning your trip and plan accordingly. But water's a big deal. Which along those same lines, on my first trip, I didn't take into account how rugged and rough the hike up Flatiron and along Ridgeline was going to be. I needed a lot more water than I thought I would. It was hotter than I expected. On this last trip, it was February, and it got up, I would say, over 90 degrees when we were climbing Battleship in the afternoon. So you never know when it's going to be unseasonably hot. You definitely don't want to try this in the dead of summer. It gets 110, 120 degrees out there. Absolutely fatal. You want to do this winter, early spring, later fall. Watch the temperatures. It's almost all full sun exposure, so you're out there in the elements. It's the desert, so take that seriously. The other main thing, if you aren't familiar with the Superstitions, is they're rugged. Those trails, I mean, most of the trails, Ridgeline, the trail to Robert's Roost, the summit of Battleship, those aren't even official trails. They're social trails that people have created over the years just by repetitively walking on the same paths. So they're even more rugged than the normal rugged Superstition Wilderness trails. I don't really know how to describe it, but 1,000 feet of elevation gain in the Superstitions is harder than 1,000 feet of elevation gain in a well-groomed, well-traveled, relatively well-maintained trail like Bright Angel or, one of the corridor trails in the Grand Canyon. I think it's just because all the boulders and all the rocks and stuff, you constantly have to be looking at your feet so you don't twist an ankle. You'll take one step and it's 8 inches up. Then you take another step and it's 24 inches up. And then the next one's 4 inches. It's just this uneven terrain that is more rugged than you expect. Flatiron, you're using your hands for a lot of the climb. It starts out flat, then it goes at an incline that's exhausting but manageable. And then when you start thinking you're getting close, then it really ramps up the steepness and it's almost scrambling. So, I did a lot of training. I hiked a lot of day hikes before I did this. I used the stair stepper when I couldn't get out. And I thought I was more prepared than I was. And Flatiron really beat me up. There's something about carrying an overnight pack and a bunch of water up something that steep that just exhausts you. I expected that once I got to the top, it would be great. Ridgeline does go up and down, but at least there's some breaks. Flatiron's just up. But what I found is when I got up there, even the slight incline to get to the Flatiron overlook was just exhausting. We took longer to get up because of our heavy packs. So felt this urge and this pressure that we had to keep moving or we were going to be there too late for camp. And so we didn't really get a good break. And I did a couple of these little inclines on Ridgeline and my legs were jello. I had nothing left in the tank. And I sat down and told the guys, I'm like, you're going to have to go on without me. I'm just too slow. I'm too tired. I'm not conditioned well enough. I'm not going to make it, and I don't want to bring you down because of my lack of conditioning. And they weren't having it. They sat me down, made sure that I ate something, drank some electrolytes, took some of the weight from my pack. I really wish I didn't have to say that. That is a very demoralizing thing, but it's what I needed to happen to keep going. Brevin was talking in the video about how it feels to dig deep and how you have so much more left over in the tank than you think you do. And he's right. I kept going for another 7 or 8 miles and another 1,500 or so feet of elevation gain and got all the way to camp. Day 2, day 3, they're much more mellow. I had no problems. Full pack, water, no issues on that. I mean, it was tiring, but I could make it. But just don't underestimate how tough it is to carry a big, heavy overnight pack up something that steep. If you're going to train with a heavy pack. Another thing, if you watch the video, and I'll put it in the description, a link to it, and when I tried it the first time, know your bailout points. If you're on Ridgeline and you're dying, you can go out hieroglyphics. That's where I camped for the night the first time I tried it. You can go down Carney Springs, or you can climb up to Roost, go around, get down to Fremont, and get out. If you're really feeling bad at that point, it's probably better to exit, because otherwise you have to turn around and go deep into the wilderness. And if you're having trouble, you don't want to go into the wilderness. You want to get as close to getting out as you can. So I've gone through our route, and I will put all the trail names in the description of the video. But we started right off the SR 88 Apache Trail Road. But you can also go to First Water, you can go to the Crosscut Trailhead, or you can start at the park itself right by Flatiron, but you do have to pay to get in there. It just depends on, would you rather walk more on the road to your car like we did? We had about a 2.5 mile road walk. Or if you parked at First Water, you would have to walk that road on day one, which I would get as close to Siphon Draw as you can, because that's the worst day. Day one is by far the hardest day. For camping, it's at-large camping out there. There are a lot of spaces. You can camp at the top of Flatiron. There's nothing on the way up to Flatiron. It's just steep. There's not real good spots on Ridgeline, although there is one just past the saddle after you've gotten to the top of Flatiron. Go over that saddle. There's a tree and a nice little campsite down there. But the rest of Ridgeline is pretty exposed and not great until you get down to where it meets hieroglyphics. You can camp in Carney Springs, Robbers Roost. When you get on to Peralta and you get down in the valley by Weavers, there's a bunch of spaces. And then there's plenty of things you can make work basically from the Fremont saddle all the way out. So you don't have to do exactly the nights that we did. There are other icons along the way. I mean, the main ones are Siphon Draw and Flatiron, the Ridgeline itself, Weaver's Needle, and then Battleship. But you do pass by 5024, which offers these amazing 360-degree views. That's right by Flatiron. You can go up to 5057, which personally I haven't done. When you're going down towards Carney Springs, there's about, I think it's a mile each way to Three Sisters. If you're really crazy, you can go down to the Wave Cave off of Ridgeline, come back up, but that would add a lot of elevation loss and gain. If you're totally insane, you can climb Weaver's Needle. Wayfinding, your gear, having a PLB, all of that stuff you should have down. This is not a beginner backpacking route. It is definitely more advanced, logistically extremely difficult, physically demanding, and again, the heat and the water, dangerous. So keep all those in mind. Battleship, I forgot to mention, it's kind of off route finding and some scrambling and almost some technical climbing moves, although not quite. If you have a fear of heights, that's not a good one. You saw me in the video. I scooted down on that one little section on my butt because it's a couple hundred feet on each side. That one, you know, if you get up there and you don't like what you see and you think that it could get you in trouble, just don't summit it. Turn around and go back out. But that's about it for the wrap up. I do want to say, you know, I just made this route because I love the Superstitions and I wanted a challenge. And it's really kind of cool to see what it's becoming. I met Brevin because he wanted to do it and he was asking questions about it. And those 4 people that were out there hiking it, that was crazy. We're sitting around the campfire and this group of people come up. We see headlights way after we thought we would see anybody. And they're just like, hey, we know you guys. We've watched your videos. We're out here doing this loop. The sense of community around it is, it's really cool. I just wanted to hike something, and it's really fun to watch other people do it and see how it goes for them. Which reminds me, it's the competitive nature around the people doing it. They're crazy. Brevin went out and completed it. Troy went out and decided, hey, I'm going to climb Weaver's Needle when I do it. So he free soloed up to the top of Weaver's Needle and I don't even think he brought rope. So I don't think he rappelled. I think he down climbed the whole thing. It's terrifying for me to even think about. Then another guy went out, I think it was a hiking engineer. He's got a channel on YouTube. He went out and did it in a day. And so Brevin, not to be undone, has now laid down the gauntlet, and I think he takes the cake because he hit every one of those icons I talked about, even the secondary ones like Three Sisters and 5057. and climbed Weaver's Needle and exited the whole loop, all the icons in one day. That's insane. I don't see how anybody's going to top that. I didn't even think I would be able to do it in 3 days. So that's where it is now. Try the 3-day loop if you are interested in it. Don't make it your first backpacking trip. I wouldn't even make it my first trip in the Superstitions, but it is a beautiful route, and the satisfaction of getting it done, like, I can't stop grinning. I'm happy to have that one under my belt. And I'll probably do it again because it's some type 2 fun. But isn't that the best kind?
I thought you'd be more excited.
Dude, I'm like, I already went to say hi to that guy.
There's so much heavy breathing and moaning and groaning going on back there. I think Jerry's getting rid of his YouTube channel and he's gonna start an OnlyFans channel.
Whose stupid idea was this?
Yours?
Hey, you filming me, filming you? Hang on. You're filming me, filming you, and he's filming you, filming me, filming him and you.